Hi, internet. My name is Manuel. I am the coolest person on the internet because I am the only one here at the. Actually, why I say that because JD's here. See, I feel like those. I feel like those fucking Karens who are. I just cursed in the first 3 seconds of the video. I'm definitely editing that out. But I feel like one of those Karens who's all like, "Why do I have to wear a mask? I'm the only one in here," not acknowledging the people who work there as humans. Um. So yeah. Hold on. Oh, Nyaru came in just the right time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is she on video
are you
or?
wearing,
I'm
are
on
you
video.
wearing a new outfit?
Yeah, I'm wearing a new outfit.
Oh, it looks really cute.
Thank you.
No
I
one can
cooked
see
some
it yet, I
dinner.
think, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I covered it up with a picture of you just because I didn't know if
We
you'd have video.
are in vivo.
In vivo.
There we go.
So y'all started without me?
Staying alive,
Like
barely.
30 seconds ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we were mainly seeing Copacabana for like 5 minutes. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
At the Copacabana, Nyaru comes from Havana. I don't think Nyaru comes from Havana. I don't know why I said that. Hold on. I'm still tagging 80 people in this post. Hold on. Okay, there it goes. That works. Sorry, like I'm kind of distracted because like in the background, I need to stop. It's on another window. My disco, well, I mean not my disco playlist. Copacabana stopped playing, so I listened to that a second ago, and it's moving on to other disco music, and it's playing "Staying Alive" right now. And that's a very distracting song to have playing in the background. Do my Spider-Man
If you
dance.
like pina colada
And
get
getting
Caught in the rain.
something.
If
Wait,
you're
is that
not into health food, if you have
Is
half
it-
a brain.
Is that the song that's about the people cheating or whatever?
Yes.
No, it's about your mom.
I mean, what? I had a comeback joke. Wait, I can't make a comeback. I can't make another comeback joke to that, but yeah. I remember one time. Should I tell this story? I'll tell the story anyway. So, whoa.
Sorry,
What got-
Yoshi is.
Something got up Yoshi's butt, little there. But
No, he wants my food. Hold on, I'll take care of him.
He wants my food. So if you've ever been to a convention with us, there was this one con we went to where Jordan was there and he was staying with us. Like it was actually a very funny story. He got drunk and just passed out and was staying with us accidentally at the con that night. But he was there with his cousin Ari. Or should I have said that? Well, it doesn't matter. I don't think they've both been on together, I think, various shit. So anyways, and Ari kind of got stranded by default because I think he was her ride. So Ari could have stayed with us too, but it was kind of a crowded room, so she went somewhere else to sleep. And she came, and so the morning, that part's important to come up. So in the morning, we're waiting for another friend of ours to show up. It's this guy. Fun fact: I told this story with that dude who I was trying to one up me on alcohol. That I took the absinthe shot and almost vomited everywhere. It was that guy. So we're waiting for him to show up in the room. And Jordan's there, and he's just waking up, and we're taking shots already, even fucking though it's 9 a.m. And Jordan's all like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to have sex with the next person that comes in that door, because we're waiting for that guy, right? So the next person comes to the door, having sex with them. I don't care who the hell it is. We're going to come in.
Oh my god, you don't say that.
Wait, hold on. So it gets better. Well, we're joking, and we know the guy. And the guy's like knocking, and we hear the knock, and we're saying this like so that he can hear it outside. And this joke, this story does sound weird if you don't know us. It's like it sounds like Jordan's just gonna sexually assault someone. He's not really gonna do it. I should tell this whole story, but he didn't really mean this. We were just saying this. We were shouting it so that the guy on the other side of the door would hear it. And we open the door and it's Ari, his cousin.
Oh my god!
And she's like,
welcome to Ultra Podcast Z, everyone.
And she's like,
yeah, welcome to Ultra Podcast Z. Happy 4th anniversary.
Yeah, it's like the show that brings you incest.
It brings you the poo poo pee pee.
I just realized I thought I'm like, what's on my phone? Apparently it's been playing Ultima 4, like a long play. I don't know what I was watching that turned into that. But yeah, Ultra Podcast Z episode 148. It's our 4th anniversary. I am Manuel, the internet's favorite cryptid, and best Barry Manilow impersonator you've ever heard. I mean, I'm the spitting image of Barry Manilow. There's this movie. Do you know what the movie's called? It's like one of those teen movies, like from the '90s. It might be early 2000s, like the She's All That-y type movies or whatever. But there's one that involved Barry Manilow, and I can't remember which movie that was. Like I think he even was in it. But like the dude was in love with this girl, you know, typical teen shit. And then I think something Mandy was involved. The song Mandy, you know, which apparently is about his dog or something in real life.
No, it's just that the song was called Brandy in the original version, but because Brandy, You're a Fine Girl by Looking Glass had come out right before that, he had to change it to Mandy, or he changed it to Mandy just so they wouldn't get confused.
Oh, well, I don't know what teen movie that was, but there's a movie that I think Barry Manilow comes in and sings Mandy. That's. I haven't thought about that movie since I saw it and just popped in my head right now. Anyway, Nyaru, introduce yourself. Let's get this shizzo on the Rizzo.
Hi, my name is Nyaru. I have a new outfit. I went to the Met Gala and I'm eating Whole Foods food. It's nice to meet you. You want to see me at the Met Gala?
Yes, let's see.
Okay.
Did you get skinnier? What happened to your model? Or is this like a weird color thingy?
I think it's a weird color thingy.
Yeah, I think your sides just look like they disappeared because the coloring of your clothes. Oh my God! You went to the Met Gala.
Yeah, I told you I went to the Met Gala.
Oh my God! I mean, I have not seen better evidence than this. Were you there with how do you pronounce her name? Rose? I see an accent. Apparently, I think she's K-pop because Rose or Rose. I don't know how you pronounce her name. I
don't even know who that is.
Do you know who I'm talking about, JD? She's some K-pop person because everyone's losing their shit.
Me recognizing anything K-pop?
Oh wait, she's not K-pop. Oh yeah, she is. She's a Korean New Zealand singer. What is she? She's in a group, I think. No wait, she's not in a group. She's just solo. She's from YG. Apparently it is Rose, by the way, because like it shows how you read it in how you read the romanization as Roje, which I'm sure is meant to be Rose. But yeah, she showed up at the Met Gala night ago, and she showed up in a lot of like the things, and all my Korea Boo friends are like sharing like, she's from Blackpink. She's from Blackpink.
Blackpink in your area? That's all I know them for.
Yeah, apparently Blackpink only has a handful of members, and it's like, don't they also have Lisa? Because nobody wants to shut up about La Lisa. I don't know if that's her name. I don't know if she has a song called La Lisa, or if she's going by La Lisa now that she's a soloist. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, her name is Lisa. The album is called La Lisa, and I'm just annoyed there's another artist named Lisa. And no, I'm not just referring to the Lisa that does a lot of anime openings, because I was annoyed when she came out. Because is her name actually Lisa? Because I know Lisa is supposed to be an acronym, like love is same always, some shit like that. And it was technically the name of a band at one point. So, but there's too many Asian artists named Lisa. Like just Lisa, like kind of like, one name. Please stop doing this.
It's a very easy pronounceable American name. That's why they have it.
One of them go by Risa, just like the Japanese ones, of course. I'm not going to be like, but yeah, one of them go by Risa just to appease me, just to appease Manuel because Manuel's getting angry. But no, actually, it is kind of annoying when you go to like Wikipedia, and it's like there's a billion Lisa's artists, and they're all like, most of them are Asian. I think there's even an American Lisa. So yeah, and there's Lisa Simpson. There's enough Lisas.
And Lisa.
Anyways, 4th anniversary. Shit's going on. We're off to a great start, aren't we, JD?
Yes. And I'm just seeing if I can find that Mandy movie. The only one I can find from about the time right now. Happiness, Disturbing Behavior, Hope Floats.
Whoa, Happiness is a really crazy movie. If we're talking about the same Happiness, that's that's not the type of movie I was talking about.
Oh, sorry. Only the first one was Mandy.
Mandy, Barry Manilow, teen movie.
Teen movie? What?
Apparently, from Can't Hardly Wait.
I heard P movie.
Yeah, I think I did say P movie. I didn't mean to say that. But apparently,
At first I thought you said B movie, but then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I heard a P in there.
Can't Hardly Wait's the movie, but I love that movie. I'm pretty sure it's aged like fine milk. So maybe don't judge me if you watch it now because I haven't watched it since I was a kid. But in that movie, there's like this I think Seth Green's in it, which is probably like that's how I kind of feel like I'm pretty sure it's aged badly. But there's this part where like him and this girl just like keep having fights, but they keep making up but whenever they have sex. And that's such a real teenage thing that just like it's just really I don't know. And there's also this part where this nerdy kid kind of becomes cool because he gets drunk and starts singing to Guns N' Roses. And also, when he first was drinking the beer, he drinks it. It's his first time drinking beer, so he thinks it tastes terrible. So he's like, "No one drink the beer. It's gone bad." And I always think about that whenever I drink beer, and I forget that beer tastes like shitty wheat water.
You're bad.
No, Yoshi, you're not coming in here. You were very bad.
Give him beer. Oh, don't give him.
Give him
beer,
beer? No.
But
Actually,
no.
I think he's sick, so I have to go take him to the vet soon.
Oh, he has a doggy cold. There's a podcast out there called Cinemassacre Podcast. Probably you heard of it. It's a little thing, not big at all. Has James from James Earl from AVGN and some of the screaming people who no one likes. But I watched it recently. I'm not gonna lie, I watched it on accident because I was watching a season of AVGN, and then I guess that was the next one on autoplay, and I was like, oh, it's kind of actually not that bad of a podcast. And they were talking about like weed storage, shit like that. It was like an episode from like 2 weeks ago, and then I watched a few more, and I'm like, I want to steal some ideas from this. And to be fair, some of these ideas are another podcast too, so they're not exactly the most unique ideas. And it technically is a segment we kind of did, but we got lazy with, and we haven't always done. I wanted to open with, what have we been watching or doing or something lately? Typically watching, because that's the easy one. We always watch it. Nyaru, what have you been watching lately? What have you watched lately?
ER.
Are you serious?
I'm on yeah. I'm on the final season already.
Wait, so when you were talking about ER recently, okay. Let me set the question again. Did you like ER when it was in its original run? Like you've already seen it before. You're like just officing it. You're like rewatching it, Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is that on Netflix?
Hulu.
On Hulu? Oh, I love Hulu. Every year I keep resubscribing to Hulu because every like Black Friday they have like a deal where you get it for like $1.99 or 99 cents. And it's the ad version, but I won't tell you where. But if you use like any browser, honestly, go to the add-ons and you'll find a Hulu ad blocker. And there you go, you're set.
They've been combating that recently.
There's one. What is it called? I don't know if I should promote this, but there's one called Fast Forward Through Ads that they have not combated all year. I don't know if they can't because it's a fast forward, not a skip. But like literally, and when I say fast forward, it's gone. Like you won't even notice it. And I feel bad for Hulu because technically that's why you're getting it cheaper, but fuck it, I don't care.
But I mean, like technically, you're still playing it. It still gives them the ad, like the money.
Also, that version of Hulu used to be free.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing. Like that was the free version. Like Hulu was similar to like I think Crunchyroll still has it, where you watch an ad-supported version, which makes sense. Which is fucking annoying. They would charge you anything when there's ads on it because that's where the revenue comes from. So yeah, but by default, I'm against it. If it was a free platform, I mean, I do ad block YouTube. Well, YouTube's stupid sometimes.
YouTube, fuck YouTube, honestly.
Yeah, and YouTube first of all, I hate that YouTube puts ads on videos that aren't monetized. So YouTube will always get paid. It's the question whether the creator will, which is fucking stupid. And I learned that because we have videos that are either demonetized or are not monetized. I don't want them to be for whatever reason. And ads will still play. And that's fucking annoying. I'm like, I should be able to, like, I thought, oh, by the way, fun fact, if you go to the A to J Connections website, the site. One of the things that we haven't mentioned in like years, it's always been ad free and it's always going to stay ad free.
Mm-hmm.
I only mention this because I went to sorry, see how we lost a segment already? I'll come back to it, I swear. But when I was doing research for some fast news topics later on, there was a site I go to, a friend of mine's site actually, and I go to a bunch of other sites, but I went to a friend of mine's site who runs a similar-ish, like level-ish blog and like terms of like viewers and stuff. And I went to their site, and there are so many ads. Every time you click an article, it takes you to an ad before you get to the article, and then there are ads on the article. And I'm like, how do people use the internet on their phones? Because obviously on desktop I have ad blockers up my ass, so I don't see most of this. But whenever I use the internet on mobile, on like my phone or any mobile device, I'm like, the internet is unusable. It's unviewable. How the fuck does anyone do this? Anyways, so how do you like ER, Nyaru?
I like it. Very nostalgic for me because I grew up watching it with my family. And I mentioned it so many times that, you know, it helped me get over my fear of doctors in the hospital. Even though, looking back at it, I don't know how, because it makes hospitals look so much worse than they actually are sometimes. But I'm on season 15. This is the final season. I'm actually about to get to one of the best episodes of the whole series, which is called the Book of Abby. It's basically like the last episode of like one of the most longest running characters. And Yoshi, it's not that deep. Stop. And yeah, I'm really excited because I'm gonna watch it tonight, like probably after the podcast, maybe. Because it's just a really good episode. I remember this is the second or third time I've technically binge watched ER. Because it's like that one show that she always put on like the background.
Yeah.
And you just like want background noise, but you also want something that's familiar. You like know the story already, but you know, like for example, one of my family members, their background show was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That ER is basically my Sunny, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get to this next episode. Because like I said, it's one of the best ones of the whole series. You have to wait maybe like 15 seasons for it, but you know what? It's worth it.
I was gonna say, like, it's not a lot of shows. Like, oh, one of the best like arcs is in season 15.
No, it's just one episode. It's just one of the best
episode.
episodes. It's literally one of the best. Literally, it's also proclaimed on so many like websites, and like I was looking at like old like articles that like around when ER was around, like when they released like articles or whatever about the show. I was reading some of them, and like some of them were even like the Book of Abby is like one of the most amazing episodes of the series, and here's why. It's like, and I don't know. I just love ER so much. It's part of my childhood. I grew up watching it with my whole family. Like we would sit down, watch it like every Thursday at I think it was like 6 o'clock ish. Central Time. We would sit down and watch ER because it came on right after the news, the 5 o'clock news. So yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been enjoying. I've also been enjoying true crime YouTube, but that's really it.
Oh, which YouTubers do you watch?
I've been watching HannahTheHorrible recently.
Oh, she was in a documentary I saw recently.
Really?
HannahTheHorrible.
She got recommended to me on my thing, and I started watching it because she did like a video on the little Evilstick toys, where it's like you pull the foil back, it's like that.
Yes, no, that was okay. Thank you. I'm trying to piece it all together in my brain, and you just jogged my memory completely. That video got recommended to me too, which by the way, which is funny because that video, like usually when that happens, the video is trending, has millions of views. I mean, it has a lot of views, but not as many as you would think. So what are we both watching that gets that recommended to us? But when I watched it, I'm like, I know her because she was on I had it on the background. It was one of those Netflixy true crime ones, and she was on it. And I'm trying to figure out which documentary that was. I can probably Google it in a minute. But I saw that. But the fucking stick. By the way, did you watch that video?
I did watch it.
Did she say where the picture came from?
Yes.
Yeah, it's from because some people have always debunked. Okay, So I stopped watching the video once I realized I had seen a documentary and then just forgot to watch it. It's still on my watch later. This just happened like yesterday. Um, fuck. I think Phelan, Phalis, I think is his name. I don't remember. He was one of the Channel Awesome people, but he left long before all that bullshit with Doug Walker. But he did a video where he fully debunked it because for years nobody knew. Everyone thought, "Oh, it's a little girl. It's like this is a horrible image," but it turns out it's actually a real like from a gore site kind of thing, and it's an adult. And at the time, I'm sure if you find that video somewhere, you can still go to this gore site where people are into like doing gore photo shoots or whatever. But that blows my mind that like, and nobody still knows the whole story about that toy. But when I first saw that, when that story first blew up and it was all over the news, I went to every dollar store I could find to try to get one of those.
No, okay, so I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you, but
Spoil it.
Okay, so the toy itself was not like a thing that was sold at every dollar store. It was just this one specific dollar store in I think like Tampa, Florida or something. I forgot where exactly. Yeah, of course, it's where Florida. But yeah, it was only specific to this specific dollar store. There was no other dollar stores in the area or around the country that had these sticks. Some people have actually been like looking for these sticks for such a long time.
Buy them on eBay.
Just because of the novelty of it. They found there's like other varieties of it too, not just the one with like the lady with the knife and everything. The original picture was actually of like it's like a photographer's like art project or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like essentially it's supposed to be like a vampire, like, you know, drinking their own blood essentially. But there's other variations of it apparently. I forgot what the variations were, but there's other variations of like other scary images. But this is the most sought after one because it's just so like freaky and unique. One person actually physically has one. So he's another like horror YouTuber, I think. And he did like a whole like playing with this toy video or whatever. That's how I'm gonna spoil it because she actually does give out some theories about where this exactly came from, and they're actually very credible theories. So I'll let you watch it, and I'll let y'all watch it as well. I'll see if I can grab a link and so you could throw it at y'all in the description.
I'm looking at this too right now. It's in my watch later, so I'm gonna go try to grab it real fast right now too.
Okay.
And we'll come back to this next week. Fun fact, I know for a fact that Phalis has one because he showed it off in the video. And like I said, years ago, like this is like from almost 10 years ago now. I was with I had this living ex-girlfriend. And I remember she went to a lot of stores looking for it for me too. But you were able to buy them on eBay back then. Like I think somebody had went to the store and like bought like a peg and was selling them for like not like a too crazy of a price for the time. I mean, if I still had it. I wouldn't have minded that I spent like $100 on it or something. But yeah, and I'm still upset I didn't buy one, even for the then inflated prices. Because now I don't think you can really find one online, period. And if you do, probably someone made it, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I just like how the packaging included like a picture of Cardcaptor Sakura.
There it goes. I found it. Yeah, it's Cardcaptor Sakura.
And it said like
the legacy of
and I like the fucking arguments that people are like pointing fingers at like whose fault it is, because like at the end of the day it's no one's fault.
Yeah, see, this video doesn't even have 1 million views and it showed up on my like get it to 1 million. That's our goal.
Yeah, get it to 1 million. It's actually like one of the most recent updated like versions of like that story.
Yeah, because the video I keep mentioning, and I'll have a link to that like in the description if you're watching on YouTube for the Phalis one. Even that Phalis video was from like 2016. So yeah, it's from a long time ago. And even then, it was still a few years removed to the actual stick. Oh man, sorry I got derailed, but it was still technically what we were doing. What have we been doing? We've been looking up this old stick. I watched Baccano recently, which is the first anime I've watched this year, which is insane because we're in September. Have you ever seen Baccano, Nyaru? Have you ever seen Baccano? It's this like anime about immortals, like in the 20s. Well, technically they're in other parts of time periods, but actually it's in the 30s or whatever.
I've heard of it
during the Depression era.
I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
It's interesting. It's like Callie's favorite anime, which is why she always mentions it. But
I could if Callie likes it, then I'll watch it.
yeah, well, you should. Oh, you're not in that chat. God damn it. We group watched it in
What
the
chat?
Drink Talk Learn chat.
Not in that chat.
We group watched it there, and it's actually
Well,
funny
thanks for
because
inviting me.
yeah, I actually didn't mean to. Like, I had no intention of joining them because reasons, but like, it was always like at reasonable time, like before I had any streams during like on the I think it was mainly it was on Labor Day, so I watched it then like in and out, and I was like, oh man, this show's really good, and I don't know if I think it's like the best anime ever, like some people say, but it was good, it was entertaining, and it didn't have as it sort of stuck the landing when it comes to an anime ending, which I feel no shows really do, like no anime really do. It balanced the line pretty good between because they're immortals. But like my favorite part is that at the end, well, let me phrase this. It's about immortals. So at one point they're trying to like develop this like serum or potion or whatever for immortality, and this dude tests it out on a rat. He has the rat tied up.
Rats. We are the rats.
Injects the rat, then smashes the rat, and the rat comes back to life. And it turns out the lab burns down. And when the lab burns down, my first thought was, that fucking rat! The poor rat is gonna burn forever or whatever. But presumably the rat somehow, like, well, obviously didn't somehow. He survived the burning, obviously. Chewed his way out or something, or someone chewed him out. And was alive. At the end of the show, spoiler alert, by the way, so low-key spoiler alert, because this isn't the point of the show. The show's not about the rat. But at the end of the show,
rats.
They're basically some of the characters are talking about, like, is this the end? Or is this the beginning? And it's like, oh, no story really has an end or a beginning. It's about people living their lives. And then they show the rat. And the rat, they show this rat get run over by a car. And I'm like, oh, it's the rat! It's the rat from the fucking lab. And of course it is, because the rat lives. And in my head canon, that rat later on set free Ant-Man in Avengers Endgame. Because he was, and I'm like, that rat is in the MCU. Baccano is in the MCU. This is all connected. That rat saved the universe. And like he's responsible for stopping Thanos. What song are you doing?
Celebrating another birthday bash. Michael, you've been such a good boy this year. It's a Germa song.
Oh, I swear to God, did you go to the Cali School of Everything? Because she always talks about Germa all the time too.
Germa's like the best VTuber. Do you not know about this?
Like, I feel like Callie's personality can be broken down to plays Minecraft, watches Germa, talks about Baccano, eats hot chip and lies. And that's all of her personality.
Chips and lies.
That's her personality. That's all of it. You're
you
like,
want to know what your personality is?
What is it?
You have none, actually.
Oh shit! That was just like that hurt more than if you came with a bad joke for it. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up there with things we watch. I like Baccano though. It's now I feel like I want to watch more anime, but I can't really feel like anything to dive into. Like I want to watch a bunch of shows like that I've been meaning to. Like I want to finish watching Redo of Healer to see if it got any better. But like, do I really want to waste more of my life on Redo of Healer? So by the way, for those who don't know what that is, it's like this like borderline hentai show that was just very violent, and I just didn't like it. Like not even because of like it just felt it felt like it would be like I don't know how else to phrase it, but like this, and it makes no sense if you don't know who Pleiades is. If you don't know who he is, watch more of our streams. But it feels like it would be Pleiades' favorite anime because it's very edgelord anime. Like I always felt. But
Manuel,
like anime.
I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. We should just do an entire UPZ on short anime you should watch.
We should. We'll do that next. We'll do that before the Halloween break because that sounds like a fun topic we should get into. By the way, our Halloween schedule is coming up real soon. By the way, before I get into that, sort of Halloween related, the Toxic Avenger movie is apparently happening. We mentioned this many times, or at the very least, it ended production. I'm sure that it will get released in some fashion, even if it's just dumped on a streaming service. Because I don't think that movie's ever gonna like be a big blockbuster. But I could not find an edible hat on Amazon that I liked. that actually I couldn't find edible hat at all. Like there are all these sites that have edible hats to eat, because if you don't remember my whole thing, I was gonna eat a hat. So I decided to compromise, and I bought these icing treats, like that were just like hats, at least for now. But on the last stream, which is Drink Talk Roll, I chipped a tooth on a Cheeto, and like I've been deathly afraid of eating anything that's too. I say this, but when I was drunk, I was still chewing ice and shit like that. So but still, I'm kind of afraid to like bite anything too hard. And if you don't know what kind of icing treats I'm talking about, like those, they're technically edible, but I've never seen anyone actually eat them. It's like the ones you buy that come in a pack of like 12, and they're graduation hats. And I bought a pack of those on Amazon that came today. And I was like, I'm not gonna eat these anymore. I'm gonna fucking break another tooth. So yeah, rather than break a tooth on air, I'll just I'll either buy a hemp hat or one of those chip hats. I feel like a chip hat is cheating though. Don't you agree, JT? I feel like that. Even I feel that's too easy.
Yes.
Your mom
Because-
is eating.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, you open yourself up for that, buddy.
Just like your mom.
Oh, where were you
What?
last week? Where were you last week when we were looking up all the Yo Mama jokes?
I was dying.
Oh yeah, there was this really funny. There's this funny joke I looked up. The one that like, okay, your mama jokes are dead now, and it was basically like your mama's so not funny. She doesn't know how to tell a joke right. I was like, that's not fun, and I guess that's the whole joke. But I'm like, that's not funny at all. Like, were you raised by your mother? Did she teach you her sense of humor? But yeah. I just remember there was I think it was on The Simpsons or something like that. It's like your mother is so rotund that when she sits around, I forgot what show it was. They were making fun of Frasier and about like how like too highbrow their humor is, some shit like that. And it's like your mother is so rotund when she sits around the Grand Magnificent Villa. She sits around the Grand Magnificent Villa. And I wish I remembered that when we were talking about Yo Mama jokes the other day. But yes. Anyways, by the way, also if you Google Yo Mama jokes. Besides most of them being bad, and almost all of them be about your mama like so fat, whatever the fuck. Some of the sites have tried to like PCify the Yo Mama jokes, which is kind of a stupid thing to try to do. But those are almost funny to read just in their awkwardness and execution. But anyway, Yo Mama is so funny. She gave birth to Nyaru, the biggest joke of all.
No.
Oh, that was bad. Sorry, I was trying to make one up there about Nyaru being a joke, but there you go. It's our 4th anniversary, Nyaru. Oh wait, Halloween. So, our Halloween schedule is coming up. There's four Tuesdays in Halloween. Hopefully Nyaru will be there for all of them, but some of them don't technically require her, so she bounces. I'm not that none of them require her, but like I think I have enough people like for a lot of them. Nyaru better be there for them all because Halloweens are fun. But the first one we're talking about, the first Tuesday of October, is going to be horror movie remakes versus originals. By the way, I didn't even tell JD this, so JD, this is the schedule.
Okay.
And we already have some guests lined up for that. And then the second one will be us watching Night of the Living Dead, like just literally just a live stream of us watching Night of the Living Dead. I will be editing out some of the asses, and well, the one ass, and I looked it up. People have streamed it with the ass intact because I guess most social media sites don't care about the ass, but I'm still gonna censor it. I'll put Warren's ass instead. But and there's some people. That's an easy one. Just fucking watch Night of the Living Dead with us. So yeah, and then we have some other plans for like some internet shit, some more another creepypasta one I want to talk about. Might do a tier list on that, and then the other 2 weeks are a little more shaky. But those are the first 2 coming up. And then we have 2 more episodes before that. One of them will be about anime for me. But anyways, Nyaru, it's 4th anniversary. Aren't you excited?
No, not really.
You've been around for 1 year as Nyaru. And Ultra Podcast Z has been around as 4 years as the best podcast on the internet that no one has realized yet. And
no one will ever realize.
There are times like we had this fan who kept like going on about like on YouTube. It's funny because a lot of attraction happens on YouTube. And there was this dude who subscribed to us and kept like who kept asking for like us to cover Kyoko Koizumi and Yoko Oginome. And you weren't around when this all happened because this happened like the week before that we were talked about it last week, but you weren't here. And they kept commenting on all of our uploads. They mentioned it on the DTL. They mentioned it on the UPZ. They mentioned it on a Drink Talk Roll. And then I did a DTL last week, and I kind of mentioned Kyoko Koizumi. By the way, she's an 80s idol named Kyon Kyon. Kind of mentioned her there, and then when I upload the video, the fucker had already unsubscribed.
Damn.
So if you're watching, I forgot his name. If you're watching Mr. who commented on all the videos, please subscribe. It's not like I'm gonna be angry.
Why are you asking him specifically to subscribe though?
Because it's at first I feel bad because I think I did mention him on a UPZ in passing because I thought he was a bot because like he kept asking for the same thing until finally I'm like, oh wait, no, he's not a bot. He just wants us to talk about things, which is cool, you know. But don't you know? We're not the greatest show on the internet because we listen to our fans. We're the greatest show on the internet because we do what we want. As JD puts up the Patreon link. Give us money and we'll do what you want.
Hey, it's a strategy. Donate a certain amount of money each month and we'll do something.
No,
yeah.
In realness, I do need to update the Patreon. And I mentioned this in the past before. And there's a lot of things that gotta happen related to Jay. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it isn't even the manpower issue. We've or even like the willingness or want to do things. There's a lot of us willing and wanting to do things. A lot of it is just like the execution. I'm like, I want to update the Patreon, but there's two things about this. One, part of me is all like, if I update the Patreon, okay, which excuse do you want? Do you want the I'm a monster one, or do you want the this one's actually legit?
Both. Let's
Neither.
go with the monster one first.
Okay. So the monster one is, I'm afraid that if we update the Patreon, that all the patrons will get the notice that there's been a post, because there hasn't been a post in a few months, and that some of them might end their sub to us. So rather than rock the boat, I'm kind of just like, hey, maybe if I just leave it, they'll just keep giving us money. Is that fucked up? Is that a fucked up thing to say? Because I think it is.
Yes.
If you're watching, Ed, Kenneth, and Joshua, I'm sorry. We love you. I'm sorry I thought this, but yes. Patrons. But yes, I'm afraid, because I mentioned this in the past, our bills are coming up for the site, and I say this with all like dead honesty. There's other charges, but the literal site, like AtoJConnections.com, this year is just shy, pretty much 95% being paid for by the patrons. So part of me feels like I don't want to fuck that up. But then again, that's a stupid reason not to update it. The more realistic reason is, I always feel like the Patreon should be the last thing we update, because like if we get everything else together, then the Patreon thing can come up almost on its own. Like there was a point when we used to do Patreon Q&As. Isn't that an odd concept? We only did 2 of them, but we did them. They were always supposed to be bi-monthly. Technically, this was a 4-month period where we did them, and we always did them at cons, which also makes it a little awkward. But then we just do a call. But we did them at cons so we can get more people together. And only one of them is public, and I only put that one public because it was funny, because it was the first one, so most of our questions actually didn't come from patrons; they came from other people. Which leads me to my thing. If anyone has any questions they want to shoot our way, it could be anything. Throw them in the comments below, and we might answer them, because that's another segment I want to do at the end of the show. Not now. And if you have any now, then go ahead and ask them in the chat if you're in the chat. I don't know who's in the chat, but yeah, go ahead. But Nyaru, what are your thoughts on Ultra Podcast Z over the past 4 years? We've had some interesting ups and downs.
Yes.
What were your favorite moment? Wait, Mr. Talker redeemed Manuel facts. Wait, where'd that come from?
Here's a fact. Manuel sucks.
No, I just created it as a joke. It's one random fact about how old Manuel is. So today's fact is, Manuel is so old, he had front row tickets for the Big Bang.
fuck?
Yeah, he's just as big as that Big Bang too.
God, there's I'm at God damn it, you guys. What was I thinking about today? I was thinking about it was something about how old I am, and I was like, it was maybe
Manuel,
how
how
old.
old are you?
I'm too old to answer that question. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. Actually, how old am I? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in my early. I'm a few years past 30. But let's put it. Let's circle back around to.
You're 130? Oh my god.
But let's circle back around to that in a second. The other day, I was calculating how old everyone else is. Not. Okay, how do I say this to not like? Okay, when I started AJ Connections, I used to always think that everyone around me was so young. And mind you, at the time, I was in my late 20s. So I thought everyone was so young because like most of them were in their early 20s, bar a few people like Janet. Janet's actually older than me. She's the only person at AJ Connections is older than me. But Janet was older than me.
Tell a woman's age.
I mean, Janet's ageless, but oh, I remember why I was thinking about this because I wanted to circle back around to Cowboy Bebop. That I finally watched the actual trailer because if you remember when we talked about it, I'd only seen the pictures, which is why I was getting on his case about that Warren's case about the fucking guy looking like LeBron James in that one picture. But I watched the Cowboy Bebop trailer, and my first reaction was, and nobody attacked me. My first reaction was, what did they do to Spike? Because you can't tell in the pictures, but the dude playing Spike looks fucking old. And I Googled it, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Because if you type in like Cowboy Bebop age, you'll get a lot of articles. Because I guess like people have asked him in interviews, and the dude's like 60 or something. Okay, he's not that old, but he literally is in his 50s.
Can't be that old.
He's like 50s, and I'm not making that up. And it goes, and apparently people were talking about this way back when they first went into production, and because when he hurt himself, okay, there were two things when he hurt himself. There were the assholes who were like, "Oh, old man broke his hip," but there were the more realistic people like, maybe he's too old to be playing this role, because he hurt himself in a way that most people, not like most people will recover from, but like he hurt himself and he was out for months. So people have been talking about this for years, and I just didn't know about this. The dude is fucking like old, and like, okay, he's 50 still. He's 49, by the way, but he's old. And I'm like, and in my head, it just started circling back around to like age and shit like that. And I was thinking about, it's a good time to talk about age because anniversaries and everything. How old are you, Nyaru?
Forever 18, teehee.
Fun fact: Nyaru is one of the youngest members of of our whole little like group here. So, Megan in her case is actually kind of a moot point. She's even younger than some of our younger people when they first joined because she was. I definitely knew you. Yeah, I definitely knew you when you were like legit baby, probably still in high school or something. But
baby, yeah. Remember fucking Morning Musume in Houston.
Yes.
I was a senior in high school when that happened.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, like, that you were still in school at that time. But yeah, and even at that point, like people like the young people, quote unquote, in A to J, like at the time, not anymore, obviously. Let's say not anymore, but like people like Heidi and people like that were older than you, who I thought were baby. But anyways, going back to that. There's a lot of people like when A to J started. There's people like Heidi, for example, who was in her teens, and there are people like Molly and like Tiffany who were just like getting out of college, or getting out of college age, I should say. And I'm like, gosh, everyone's so much younger than me. And then it dawned on me the other day that everyone's old. And I'm like, and I don't want to call out Molly first, but I was talking to a friend about Molly. And because I was talking to a friend about a movie friend, and we were talking about oh, do I have it around here actually? We were talking about her Choma movie, the BC Butcher, because I found it recently again, and I don't know if you can even see that. I can't see my own camera, but
that's your signed copy.
It is. So I found it the other day because I was throwing away a bunch of shit. Mainly, not gonna lie, mainly DVDs. And I'm not gonna throw this away. First of all, thank God it's in a little thin case, so it's like not taking up much space. But for obvious reasons. But I found it. And I was talking to a movie friend of mine who actually worked with. The movie was directed by this person in Kansas Bowling, and she's gone on to do other projects. And she actually worked with a friend of mine in his own movie called Psycho Ape. And I was talking to somebody who worked on that movie, Psycho Ape, and we were talking about Molly back and forth. And I went to go it's like, hey, I think I've met her before. Can you send me a picture? And I went to go look up. And first of all, it was actually kind of hard for me to find a picture of us together, so I found a picture of her. And when I was going through her, it sounds like I'm just stalking Molly now. But when I was going through her profile picture, if you go like 3 of them back, it's her in front of her birthday balloons, and it was like 26 for her 26th birthday. And I don't want to age Molly, but let's just say that wasn't this year. And I was like, Molly is the age I was. And I think Molly said this already, but it just took me this long to realize it myself. Molly is the age I was when we met. Now. And I'm just like, damn, everyone's ancient. Actually, no, I think she's already a little older now. That was last year where she was the age I was. But yeah, the pandemic fucks with my brain with how old we are. But yeah. And Nyaru's already Nyaru's had a couple 18s. Just leave it at that.
Yes.
But yeah, it just blows my mind how the ever creeping specter of time. We're all gonna die. I did not know we were going here, but yes, I'm old enough to know that Manuel was a photographer, and that's like early. See, there are people who know me, like Weston I think is one of them too, but like every so often I'll meet. I just burped. Every so often I'll meet people who know me pre-A to J. I should say meet, but like re-meet or I talk to them again, and I'm like, wow, we're old. And so
You're old.
Yeah, I don't know. And it also reminded me because I was talking shit about people who have like some of my friends who had kids during the pandemic, and like this is a recent stream where I was talking about this, and I'm just like, God damn, I hate some of these people. Like I've never was that millennial who was all like, no one wants to see your kids, Karen. Stop showing your fucking kids on Facebook. Nobody wants to see the ugly kid. But that kind of turned into me. I'm like, oh my God, stop sharing pictures of your kid. Like, go do something. Go do something cool. But I'm like, wait, technically that's normal. I'm the fucking weird one. I don't know. Now I'm depressed, Nyaru. Let's see something funny. Come back. Pussy. Boomer yells at friends with babies and kids. Yeah, basically. Pussy. If you ever watch Baccano, one of the big parts of Baccano takes place on a train called the Flying Pussyfoot. And
fuck?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Flying Pussyfoot. Which does not make any sense no matter how you look at it. Because when you pussyfoot, first of all, the term pussyfoot's like hilarious to me. It always will be. When you I don't get why you would call it the Flying Pussyfoot unless you just want that pseudo innuendo going on there. But the second time we watched it, because we kind of had to break it up into like watching segments, because it's like 16 episodes.
Yep.
I was drinking like heavily that day, and I made a drinking game out of every time they mentioned Pussyfoot, I would take a shot. Because they don't mention it as often as you would think, especially in the second half, thank God. But I still had a lot of shots because it was just like, oh, they were on board, the Flying Pussyfoot. I'm like, God damn it. You know, it's like, where the fuck's my shot? Pussy Willow. What the fuck's a Pussy Willow? Is that a flower?
I think it's like a term for like ear hair.
Wait, is that what you call a... What?
I believe it's the term. I'm just trying to keep air not dead right now. So, yeah. So where do you see UPZ going in the next year?
To the Pussyfoot.
Okay.
The Pussy Field. In the Pussy Field? What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
Nyaru,
I don't know. You figure it out.
If you could do anything cool with the podcast, what would you do?
Bring on more guests.
See, that's a good idea, and I have it in my notes.
And guests, I mean like outside of A to J.
Exactly. Um, that I think we really need. We definitely need the new blood, a different blood. I'm gonna think outside the box soon. I'm gonna just ask people, like literally just people, just randos on the internet. Like, you want to be on a podcast? Come on. Why haven't we done that? Why haven't we done that?
I don't
Like,
know. Why haven't you done that? Because you are in charge of this show, not me.
that is fair. That is fair. But like, I don't know. And I have it in my notes. But there was a point earlier on in the year where like I was like, oh, Ultra Podcast Z needs a huge refresh because like, for a lot of reasons. But then, because I felt like the Nyaru manual like online vibe wasn't really like clicking anymore. But I think we've gotten better. We've definitely gotten better, and that's actually part of the reason why I wasn't actively looking up for extra hosts in some of the more recent episodes. I mentioned this to JD. Like some of the times we've had co-hosts, like I think the one time we had Jordan, the time we had Warren on, and he ended up being the only host because Nyaru had to cancel. That was an accident because he wanted to be on. But a lot of the other ones, I was just like, oh, let's get some Manuel Nyaru things to like, make sure that the format still, whatever you would call this format, still kind of works. But yeah, I think we're there. We get mad at each other enough, and you say pussy every 3 seconds, and you burp, and occasionally Yoshi is a brat. So there you go. We have all the winning combinations for a powerful podcast. We just got to I don't know.
We should also do themed stuff. And I think more interaction with the community as well, like do game nights and stuff.
Yes, that's what I've been telling him since he brought me on.
Why, you've been telling him that? What has he been saying?
He has. I literally don't reply.
Yeah.
I literally don't reply.
That's a good idea.
I've even offered to run them, and I've considered just like hijacking the stream now that I have the credentials.
We really need to do that.
Just do it. Yeah, I have Jackbox.
Yeah, I have all of them too.
Next week we'll do a game night. Next week we'll do a game night.
JD, me and you, let's start playing Jackbox right now.
No, not right now. We only have like 20 more minutes. Not right now.
Okay, after the stream.
No. Then next stream we do Jackbox.
No, next stream we definitely will. That's a very good idea. Next stream we'll do Jackbox, and then I promise that at least
are we gonna have a guest? Please.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I promise some of the upcoming streams we'll ask some people. Well, obviously we'll have somebody. Okay, part of the problem is asking somebody to be on a podcast. And back in the day, and even though we've definitely moved, honestly, we were only an idol podcast, I think, for the first 40, 50 episodes, and then we were only really a Japanese culture podcast, even for the next 50, if even that many. And so some of the times when I ask people, they have this wrong impression of what the podcast is. And I'm like, we're not talking about idols anymore. I think that was part of the issue. But
are you saying we need to rebrand again?
No, I don't want to rebrand. I really don't. That's actually the biggest issue. I don't want to rebrand. No new name. No ATH. No Ultra Podcast Z 2.0. Whatever. No Ultra Podcast Z and Knuckles.
I can make a logo.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe rebrand. You heard it here, guys. Also, I think before October 31st, we should bring on Peachy Parade.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't how do I say this? Like in okay. There obviously is no bad blood between me and Peachy Parade.
God damn it, what did you do this time?
There isn't. That is furthest from the point. But what I'm trying to say is that like there was a point when the A to J Peachy Parade, the Manuel Peachy Parade connection, the All of Us Peachy Parade connection was really strong, and it really isn't that we don't like each other. It's just that connection has slowly drifted apart as things do.
Well, why don't you keep it up?
Exactly. And I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. I don't know how to run my life, let alone like things. That rather than like, hey guys, what's up? What you doing? Just checking in on you guys. What's up? Hey, look, Peachy Parade, what are you guys working on these days? Hey, they got new members and we didn't say anything about that. They released a video and a song like a month ago. We didn't say anything about that. And then I'm just like, oh, we haven't talked to Peachy Parade in a while. I think I talked to Sylvia about some stuff recently, and Ren was supposed to be on the anniversary podcast at one point. But that was the one you couldn't come on, and now part of me just wishes we just had her on anyway. On a different day because she couldn't do that Tuesday. But anyways, um, so yeah, and then I talked to Megan recently because it's one of our things, and well, I don't think we're gonna get to it at all. One of our brief little news notes is the whole thing that GACKT's retiring. And if you
I already know who's taking that hard.
thank you. So for those who don't know, if you don't know Peachy Parade, Megan has a. I had to say her name correctly because if you remember, there was an episode where everyone talked shit about the way I pronounced Megan. I said it wrong there because I say Megan, like May. It sounds like I'm saying me as opposed to meh. So yeah, Megan.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's way too deep.
Thank you. I'm not the one who got on the case. They got on my case about it. I'm like, sorry, Megan. So yeah. Anyways, but no, she loves GACKT and she took it pretty hard. And I talked to her about that recently. It's actually funny because my hot take is I loved GACKT at one point, and you weren't here when we covered this news topic, so maybe you don't know because me and Buttcape I think are the only people who ever talked about it in English that I've seen. But GACKT came out as an anti-vaxxer a few months ago.
Really?
Yes, he took.
How did Megan feel about that?
I have not talked to her about this. She has to know because
Yeah.
it was a big thing if you're a GACKT fan, and people were talking about it in Japanese, and because he did a live video and then he talked about the vaccine and he was all like, TLDR, the really fast version. I don't want to speak too much ill of GACKT, but then again, he was anti-vaxxer. But I don't want to speak too much ill. Like, he got the first shot. He had the very normal side effects. He had like a flu, whatever, not flu, but flu symptoms. He felt like shit for the next day, and then he was so upset by this that he said that he wasn't going to take the second shot, and presumably he didn't. And he encouraged no one to take it at all because after doing research, yes, that research, you already know I'm going with this, he discovered that, things. And I'm not going to go into it because it's all, you've heard all these things already, and I don't feel like going too far into it. Just insert random anti-vax excuses here. And then a few months later, for health reasons, I'm like, did you get COVID? That was my first joke about it. I'm like, did he get COVID? Is that why he's leaving? For other health reasons, he's retiring. Or going on hiatus, I think more specifically. But he's probably not coming back. Not to say he shouldn't. But part of me just feels like, dude, couldn't you have just done this 2 months ago? And you would have gone on like a hero and I'd feel bad about you leaving. But the fact that it's so soon after the anti-vax thing, I'm just like, what's that saying about letting your heroes die or watching heroes die or whatever? But yeah, it's like
you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There you go.
From the Dark Knight,
like that, but something like that, but on the other side, because I'm watching him do it. Well, I'm just like I loved GACKT. There was for those who don't know, I actually didn't. I'm one of those weebs, those weeaboos. I mean, like actual weeaboo, like who was into VK like when Malice Miser was still around. So I remember Malice Miser being active. I'm not that old. So I never was a fan of theirs during the GACKT era. But I fucking loved GACKT and Malice Miser. And then I loved GACKT's early solo shit. Like, everyone knows Vanilla. Like, guys kissing on stage. Go Google, go YouTube it. Go watch the Vanilla live thing from 2002. That everyone still kind of knows GACKT. You know what video I'm talking about, Nyaru? Where
yes.
Yeah. It was, in all of its 240p glory, everyone was sharing that video back in the MySpace days. Like, oh, look, GACKT kisses people. GACKT and Miyavi are so cool because they kiss each other on stage, which I'm not saying is bad. And it actually was pretty cool. And I still love that fucking video. I'm just saying, if only he retired then. And he would have gone out, on top and not as an anti-vaxxer. I don't know. I feel bad saying this because I feel bad because Megan's really sad about it. And I actually vented about this. I won't say who, but I vented about this to another Peachy Parade member that I don't want to say anything publicly about the GACKT situation. Here I am saying on the podcast, but I didn't want to say anything publicly about it because I'm afraid Megan will hear. And then, yeah. And then there goes the Peachy Parade on shit again. But no, I don't know. Yeah, we need people on. We need Peachy Parade. We need fucking game night next week, and that's all our shit. Any other good ideas, Nara, about future podcast thingies? So I'm gonna start.
No.
I forgot whatever. See, I want to bring back like not really segments, but I want to because I think now that we got the podcast in the shorter format, it's a lot more
I
tighter.
think we also might work better in like a free talking format,
Yes,
or
I
we
do
have
agree.
one subject, but it's like more loose.
Yes, and I will admit I'm the king of non sequiturs. Even though you do it too, I the problem is when we both do it and then we just go off on like remember when we were talking and then like the like earlier we were talking about like what are we watching and then we went from ER to like what then we went on to the fucking Cardcaptor Sakura wand or whatever.
Well,
Which
I
was a
mean,
good
like
non
it
sequitur.
was relevant to what we were
It
talking
was relevant. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what I was getting at there, but I do want to have that segment stay, and then I want to close with some questions. We don't have any questions from the audience. Unless somebody has any in the chat. I saw Weston was there earlier.
I have a
Holiday
question.
theme guest with yes.
Why do you suck?
Because I like weenus.
Venus.
FYI, I forgot who asked this in this. Oh, it wasn't an AJ stream. It was actually one of the streams I did with Jordan on his channel. We were talking about because I was obsessed with saying weenus. I forgot what YouTuber I watched, and he's all like, "Punch him in the elbow," like specifically in the weenus. And I was just like, "What is that? What the weenus is?" And I looked it up, and apparently, like, even though everyone says that, the weenus is not a real thing. Rest in peace, weenus. By the way, I got rickrolled because Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up is playing in the background, but I was on a disco playlist. What's going on? Anyways, it's playing very quietly, just like a background noise to me, and I'm like, is that Rick Astley? But yeah, we podcast will be better in the future. I promise. We're gonna have more people. We're gonna have looser but yet still tighter format. We will have. I'm gonna put out posts about asking questions, but until then, I have other questions here that I looked up. I looked up a thing about funny interview questions, and I found some here. And I have some of the stupid ones, but I won't mention them all. But Nyaru, if you were a pizza delivery man, how would you benefit from scissors?
Probably cut up receipts or something.
Such a real answer. The only reason I'm like, what does that fucking mean? There's this video I like sharing when I'm drunk. I don't think I've shared it with Nyaru yet. Where this dude
I'm
is
glad
like,
you haven't.
he's wasted. It's a doorbell cam, and he walks up with a pizza cutter, and he's all like, "Why do you have a pizza cutter?" And you think that's the punchline to this video, but what happens is that one of the dudes that's walking with them just passes the fuck out at that moment, falls in front of them, and then crashes his head into the doorbell cam for starters, but into like the numbers on the door and knocks one of them off, like the address. And I'm like, what the fuck? And everyone just laughs at that. But yeah. Anyways, if you can get rid of any one state, which would it be and why?
Wait, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear that.
If you could get rid of any one state, which would it be and why?
Wait, let me look at a map. Kansas.
Why?
There's literally nothing in Kansas. Have you actually been through? Have you drove from east to west through Kansas? Have you done it before?
Actually, I've never been in Kansas. Kind of joking. I've never been in
Manuel's only never been in Kansas because the last time we went through it, it was still just territory.
Oh my god! I knew. What is the population of Kansas? I feel like
4.
There's actually a lot of people in Kansas.
No,
Actually,
Kansas is
yeah,
pretty high
but
up.
they're not the kind of people I think like.
Oh, what are you saying? Well, it's okay. By a lot of people, I mean there's like 3 million of them, which means, by the way, that I think there's. Let me look this up real fast. I don't want to dox myself, but I'll just say my home, the town I live in.
0.00001 of this whole country.
Well, because I think LA's population alone is like 20 million, but
10 million, I think.
What is it? Let me look that up real fast.
It might be closer to 20. Like if you
Hold on.
the whole county.
Well, because Los Angeles is stupid, like in its size. Yeah, apparently, if you
It's
go to
3
downtown,
million.
if you go to downtown, I think you're talking about like Los Angeles proper, but county is obviously a different story. By the way, San Francisco has only like 1 million people. That feels wrong. But then again, San Francisco proper, I think it's that little like peninsula. Yeah, there you go. I'm looking at a map, but that's not what people call San Francisco. um. Anyways, I would get rid of North Dakota because
Why
no
not
one
South
needs.
Dakota?
Because the South is. I'm just kidding. The South is better. But North Dakota.
But-
Manuel, oh my god!
But Manuel, without North Dakota, we wouldn't be able to hear Molly say North Dakota.
North Dakota. I know, like saying it in a Canadian way. Let's see who has more people. Okay, South Dakota has North Dakota, by the way, has about 774,000, and North Dakota. I mean, sorry, I said that backwards. North Dakota has about 774,000, and South Dakota has about 884,000. By the way, I love that it's very sequential like that. Like they almost planned it that way. But yeah, South Dakota wins. And apparently South Dakota has the Black Hills,
Yeah.
which Oh, they also have Mount. Yeah, they can stay because of all the Native American cool landmarks there that have been destroyed by Americans. Okay.
Some people might see that as a reason to remove it.
Hold on, let me finish. We'll compromise. We'll kick out the Americans and Native Americans and have both the Dakotas back. That's my plan. They can have the. I don't even know if they're in the north, but they definitely apparently were in the south, the South Dakota. By the way, why are they separated? I'm sure there's a very.
I believe that South Dakota, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like a quasi like political reason why they had a split, but it just feels like there should be one state called Dakota. What is the state with the lowest population? And
Delaware.
I don't think Rhode Island doesn't count. State lowest population.
No, I believe Delaware has fewer people than Rhode Island. Either way.
Oh, it's Wyoming.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wyoming is the least populous
We don't
state.
need Wyoming.
It's only like 300,000 people.
That's a state I never think about.
Then we don't need Wyoming. Well, we don't need Kansas more than Wyoming, honestly.
Yeah, there you go. Get rid of Kansas. Get rid of Kansas. And Kansas also technically is where the Civil War started. Not to get too political there. So let's just get rid of like bleeding Kansas. Won't be bleeding anymore. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember that. That's a joke that we had earlier. Wow, California has 40 million people in it.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's like
we're
countries.
the most populous state.
That's like countries. Like,
yes,
you know what the fuck.
Fifth largest economy, I believe. I don't know if that's changed around, but we're somewhere in the top 10. And if Los Angeles County was its own state, it'd be in like the top 10 of populations.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy part. That's the part I always joke about. People are like, there's I can't remember his name. I think it's Scott Kramer. It might be another different YouTuber. But some YouTuber was talking about some contest he didn't join as a kid, and I'm like, and by the way, I didn't say this because he's from there. I was thinking about this until right now, but he was from North Dakota, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't join the contest." And I'm like, "What are the odds I win?" And it's a state by state thingy, and I'm like, "Dude, you fucking live in North Dakota. There's like 20 people and some fucking trees. It's like, what do you mean?" It's like there's probably a very good chance you would have won if it was a state-run contest. California, yeah, you're fucking dealing with a country. Get the fuck out. But yeah, there's 10 million more people than Texas, which is crazy to think about. And I always said I thought Texas would have the most population just by sheer size. But Texas is a lot of nothing. Sorry, we got really distracted. Texas is a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Last thing, real fast. Describe the. No, I don't want to do that one. What would you do if you found a penguin in the freezer? That was the one I wanted to read.
He would be happy.
I would restart the famous website known as Penguin Town. I know it's not what it's called. I just wanted to.
Club Penguin?
Yes.
Anyways, thanks everyone for coming to the show today.
I wanted to piss everyone off by saying that her name was Nyaru. She was a tuber, and VTuber doesn't fit.
Anyways, thanks everyone for coming today. We hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
If we didn't actually. No, but we'll be back next week. We'll have a game night. We'll be playing Jackbox, some shit like that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've played Jackbox since Heidi's going away party, which is like fucking 5 years ago. Am I a human? Because I feel like everyone's played that at some point. But anyways, I don't think I have though. But I remember everyone kept making fun of me during like some of the questions, so nobody was able, like, basically you could tell when it was me for some of the things because I was the only one not like talking shit about Manuel. But anyways, that's not gonna happen again. It'll be great. But yeah. What was I getting at here? So we're back next Tuesday playing Jackbox. We'll be back the Tuesday after that, maybe talking about anime. Then all the Halloween shit starts in Halloween. There will be guests. There will be new people. There will be Peachy Parade. There will be some combination of all things, plus maybe one more thing.
Are we Apple now?
Soon. Is that what they say?
Yes.
I swear to God, I've never watched an Apple thing. I thought I was making that up. I'm probably referencing somebody who referenced Apple. But I thought I was being original. Anyways,
there's nothing original under the sun, Manuel. I know that because I stole that quote away.
I watched Quincy Reviews. I watched Quincy Reviews' video on iCarly, and he did one of the second half of iCarly. And I didn't realize how bad the second half of iCarly was until he brought back some of the episodes that I thought were shit in that one. But more importantly, I realized that Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel are two different people. And I did not know this until 2 days ago. This is important because in my head, whenever Jimmy Fallon would get like, very like kind of political and would talk about like, rightfully so, but whenever we get in this high horse about like, politics, about like, very leftist type views, in my head, I was all like, bro, you did the man show. You are not the person who should be delivering this message. And then it wasn't until recently that I learned they were two different people. Why are there two late night people that are both named Jimmy?
Anyways, thank you everyone for coming today.
Yeah.
Yes.
My name's Jimmy Manuel, and I'm the host. I'm the new host of Ultra Podcast Z. And
as long as you're not a saint.
Nyaru. It's Jimmy Nyaru, and yeah, we should get Jimmy back on. We haven't had Jimmy on in years. He's almost new.
I love Jimmy.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. I mean, no bad blood, but I haven't talked to him in years either. I think since that time. So yeah.
All right.
Anyways, peace out. Love you all. Follow our other shit. Tomorrow we're finishing Wild Arms. Friday we're doing more Dungeons and Dragons. That's a bonus stream because technically we should be off Friday, but we're doing that because there's no FAP September. Saturday, Drink Talk Learn returns. It might be a smaller 3-person episode, because Molly won't be there, and technically I have like 3 people lined up to co-host. So part of me just wants to have just 3 people be a really chill one, and almost like the whole guy thing again. But we'll see. But beyond that, we're back next Tuesday, and that's pretty much it. And everyone go watch Copacabana. Go listen to Copacabana. It's a great song. And that's it. Peace out. Love you all. Thank you, Nyaru, for showing up. We were almost going to cancel tonight.
I'm sorry.
Yes, and but we didn't. And thank you everyone in the chat for showing up. Thank you, Weston. How what? How what? Oh, how did I confuse Jimmy Kimmel?
How are we not ending the stream yet?
I'll finish that with him later. But he's asking how I confused Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. I just did. I'm stupid. They're both named Jimmy. My brain only can process 2 things at once.
All right.
And neither of them are Jimmy. Peace out. Love you all. Jimmy Night.
Good night, everybody.
Jimmy Eats World.
Good night.